What's up, guys? We are back for another Mythic Legions review, but it's not an Advent of Decay review. Today we're taking a look at a Covenant of Shadows figure, and this is one that I missed when they first came out, and I found a almost too good to be true deal, so I had to snatch him up. And today we're taking a look at Scaphoid. So we've got that neon green skeleton warrior here. You can see him in standard Mythic Legions packaging. He's there in the front in that huge window. We've got a bio for this bony dude on the side, and then the back of the box has the standard original Mythic Legions artwork on the back along with a write-up. So let's pull him out and take a look. Alright guys, here he is out of the packaging, Scaphoid, and like I said, this guy is not a recent figure. He is a little old. He's not too old, but Mythic Legions, they come and then they go. So you don't really have many opportunities to get this guy outside of a second-hand seller. But I really wanted to take a look at him just because he's so striking. He looks so cool, and you already know I'm really biased with skeleton guys. Green skeleton warrior, you really sold me right off the bat. So we're going to take a look real quick at articulation and see how this guy moves around. He's not going to surprise you. The head is on a ball. You can rotate the neck if you so choose, but you can rotate the head on that ball, swivel side to side, up and down, and of course rotation. He'll hit the gorget here, but it's rubbery, so it's not a big deal. Arms go all the way out. The shoulder piece here will go over the shoulder, and then you can rotate. They don't have bicep swivels. It's a skeleton, so he wouldn't have it anyway. Rotation at the elbow, single jointed hinge, rotation at the gauntlet, rotation at the wrist, and then we've got hinges. He has one of the solid tunic style torsos. So he sits on that ball peg. You can swivel him side to side, back, forth, bobble side to side as well. So he has full range of motion, all the way around. Legs go out, they kick forward, they kick back. The armor is cut in such a way that his leg will go freely through everything. No thigh cut because it's a bone. And then you've got rotation, and then you've got a single jointed hinge at the knee. We've got rotation, rocker, and then we got hinges down at those ankles. So, he's as articulated as any other skeleton in the line. He is missing, of course, a thigh cut because of the fact that he is a skeleton. You can see in here real quick that there's just nothing there. You can move him at the peg and you can kind of wobble it, but it's not really a joint. It's just, the way it is. He's a bone man. They don't have thigh cuts. That's just the way it has to be. Now, as is the case with, just about every Mythic Legions figure, what it really comes down to is the look and feel, the paint, the sculpt, and this figure is no exception. Everything here is just fantastic. It's, of course, a parts reuse figure. We've seen all of this stuff before. There's a lot of stuff here that Keltis has, for example, but other stuff like the tunic chest piece, we see that on other figures. But it's just the combination of these parts, this color scheme, the rustic, nasty, dirty, undead type of aspect of things here that really does it for me. And I really have to say it right off the bat. It's a green skeleton. You pretty much sold me right then and there, and I'm glad to finally have this guy in the collection. I do think that in general, everything about him is just fantastic. I love the paint applications on these colored skeletons because they make them look like the bones themselves are colored, not that they've just been painted. There's varying washes all over them, different colors. You can see there's slight hints of yellow in there, in the bone, to make it look, kind of varied with different tonal accents all over the place. So in general, I just really dig what they do with the skeletons. On top of that, he comes with all of these fantastic armor pieces. You've got the braces that are like a part of his arm. They're not, they're not attached to him anywhere. They are like riveted onto bone, which I think is a cool touch when it comes to the skeletons. You've got this little hint of green down here on his little skirt piece that hangs off of his waist armor, all of which is immaculately painted, tons of patina, tons of wear, all the little rivets are painted. Of course, the belt buckles are fully painted. And just when it comes down to it, the kind of nasty brown, gold, black really works well with the green. Everything kind of contrasts against each other and it just pops. Everything's just nicely done. But of course, as is the case with a lot of these figures, we really have to get in there and look at that head sculpt because that's really where a lot of this figure is brought to life. And while this head sculpt isn't unique to Scaphoid in any way, we see other skeletons that use it, it really doesn't matter. Everything here is just expertly sculpted. If you like the head on Keltis, for example, you'll like the head here. It's the same thing. And I'm really a big fan of this skull head sculpt. I really dig each individually sculpted and painted tooth, those sunken eyes, the sunken nose, but then there's all these little finer details that you have to really get in close to see with the little cracks and the divots and all the gouges that are in the skull, to make it look as anatomically correct correct as possible, and I think the Horsemen have done a really good job when it comes to the sculpt. And even beyond that, it's another situation where the paint is applied in such a way that the bone looks like it's actually that color, that it's varying hues of green and yellow that are being brought to the surface, not that they're just painted that way. So it's another example of them going the extra mile to add more sculpted detail, to add more paint, and really bring this figure to life. Now, we of course have some accessories to talk about, and he comes with a pretty decent spread. We're going to, of course, start off with the changes I've made to him because, as is the case, we've got some pauldrons here. We've also got an extra head sculpt. So we have got, to start with, we've got the pauldrons that continue with the same armor scheme, so it's that kind of brown, dirty gold look with the silver rivets, and then you've got the green embellishments that are inside the design work on them. So you can, use one, use both, use none if you so choose. I generally want to stick to using both with this guy. I just think it makes him look a little beefier, a little more imposing. But either way, you've got a lot of options there. We've got the extra head sculpt, which is an entirely different sculpt. It's not the same skull with just an articulated jaw because, it is articulated, so you can move that jaw around, but it's got different paint applications, it's got different cracks in it, and it's got a missing tooth as well. So that's kind of one of the bigger giveaways. So you've got a couple options when it comes to how you want to display the guy to begin with, but then we've also got some legitimate accessories. So we've got the strap as usual, got this guy. You know what that is. We have got this little dagger here, and it's one of the standard daggers, but it's got a little more paint on it than usual. It's actually got a green hue on the blade, then you've got it on the hilt and the handle, so it kind of blends in with his skirt piece here to kind of tie things together a bit. So that's kind of cool. And then you've got this big mace here, which I really, really dig. And again, it's got the same kind of paint scheme. Mine's a little warped after coming out of the packaging, so I have to play with that. But we've got the same green kind of fading from the top down to part of the blades on the mace itself. And then it's got a bit of a wooden handle. So that's really cool. That's kind of his signature weapon. And then we've got a shield here, which, if I don't take it apart while doing this, we've got a shield here that has a clip on the back. So this is what some of the older style shields use, not a handle that a lot of shields have now. So you just clip that on their arm. But this is just a really basic shield. So it kind of matches his tunic in color. And then it's got a kind of gunmetal-y gray black border around it. I wish it had a tampo design on it. It's kind of weird that it doesn't. I'm not sure that I can think of another shield that I have that looks like this. But either way, it's nice. You can pair him up with something like this, and you've got kind of a full armament for him. But he comes with enough stuff to really have a lot of options, not to mention the fact that you've got all the different display options with the pauldron and, of course, that head sculpt. So I'm sure I don't even need to say it, but again, we've got a winner on our hands as far as I'm concerned. I really dig the skeletons in the line. They are probably my favorite figure types when it comes to Legions. Well, at least they are when I'm recording this. That may change tomorrow. But this guy in particular is really fantastic. He and Keltis are among my favorite figures in the line, and it really just has to do with the super saturated colors in those bones, not to mention the fact that everything about the figure is expertly sculpted, but something about a green skeleton man is really hard to pass up. And then, of course, he comes with all these fantastic accessories. You've got varying display options, and it's just another example of all of the things you can do with a single Mythic Legions figure to make them into different types of things, not to mention the fact that he complements all the other skeletons quite well. So that's going to do it for this look at the Mythic Legions Covenant of Shadows Scaphoid figure from Four Horsemen. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.